Today is Tuesday, Parashat Bo, and we're learning from the Gemarah of Hok Leisrael for today. Tanya, we learn in a Baraita. Amar Rabban Gamliel said, Pa'am achat, one time, הייתי מהלך בספינה, I was traveling by boat, וראיתי ספינה אחת שנשברה, and I saw a boat that broke down. There was a shipwreck, and the boat sunk. והייתי מצטער, and I was sorry. על תלמיד חכם שבה, I was sorry on the apparent loss of a scholar that was in that boat that sunk in the water. Umanu, who was he? Was Rabbi Akiva. וכשעליתי ביבשה, but when I later landed ashore, בא וישב ודן לפניי בהלכה. He came and sat down next to me and discussed with me matters of halakha. Amarti lo, I told him, Beni, my son, mi halach, who brought you up ashore? Amali, he answered me, Rabbi Akiva answered me, Daf shel sfina nizdamen li. There was a plank of wood from a boat that came next to me. In other words, he grabbed onto that plank of wood. Vechol gal vegal sheba alai. And every wave that came towards me, ni'anat ilo roshi. Ni'anat ilo roshi means I bent my head to it. In other words, I didn't oppose the wave with full force. On the opposite, I bent my head and let the wave go over me, and I continued floating with that board or that plank until he arrived ashore. Mikan amru chachamim, from this Hachamim learned the lesson. Im yavo'u reshaim al adam. If wicked people come towards a person, if wicked people come and, let's say, to approach a person to attack him or to come towards him, maybe sometimes speak aggressively towards him, say words that they should not be said, yena'aneh alayim rosho, he should not oppose them forcefully. All he should do is just bend his head and let it pass over him. He would be more successful that way, just like Rabbi Akiva, by bending his head to the waves, he was able to float all the way to shore, rather than oppose the waves forcefully. So this lesson was learned. When wicked people approach you to aggress you verbally or whatever, just bend your head and let it pass over. Amarti be'ota sha'a. Rabbi Gamliel says, I said at that moment, Kama gedolim divrei hachamim. How great are the words of hachamim. She'amru said, Mayim sheyesh lahem sof muteret. Water that has a visible end, she's permitted to her husband. We're talking here about a situation in the Gemarah in another place. If someone saw a man who sank into the water, who seemed to have drowned in a body of water, if the body of water has a visible end and he doesn't come out from the water, then he can give testimony that he drowned, and then his wife would be permitted to marry. She would be a widow. However, the Hachamim made that distinction. However, water that don't have a visible end, just like a sea, you don't see the end of the sea. Asura, she would be forbidden to get married to another man, because even though he seemed to have drowned in one place, or sink in one place, maybe he re-emerged on the other side in a place that is not visible to you. Maybe like the case of Rabbi Akiva, there was a plank that came and he moved his head to every wave that came, and he was able to get ashore. And therefore, Rabbi Gamliel said, how great are the words of Hachamim, how wise they are, that they made that distinction between a body of water that has a visible end and a body of water that does not have a visible end, in terms of making his wife permitted to remarry. And when he saw this occurrence with Rabbi Akiva, that was a proof to the wisdom of Hachamim that made that distinction in the laws of having to do with allowing a wife to remarry if the husband had drowned, Shem Yatzinu, in the waters. Big difference. If it's a water that has a visible end and he didn't resurface, she can marry. If he doesn't have a visible end, you never know, he may have come up on the other end. This was the Gemarah for today, from the Gemarah for today, Hok Leisrael of Parashat Bo. Baruch Adonai le'olam, Amen ve'amen.